everybody, welcome to Big Valley Living. I'm J&J, and Michelle's behind the camera tonight. This video is going to be the unboxing of the Presto Digital Precise Canner. It's the 2144 model, and this could be a game changer. I don't know. We'll find out. It's time to get into the box and let's see what's in here. So we'll just go right now. So I've been waiting to do this for quite some time actually, but I wanted to do a little bit of research, which after we find out what's in this box, I'll tell you about a little bit of research that I've done. And again, disclaimer, you do you. It's your kitchen, your house, your things. But let's see what we get. As you can see, I have not opened this. So I want to address a point of controversy right off the bat. This guy right here. The USDA does not endorse this canner. The USDA does not approve of this canner. The USDA doesn't anything with this canner. This here, that is not their approval. We'll just leave it at that and we'll move forward. Even more disclaimer, they don't approve any canner, whether it's this one, the All-American, the Presto, the 23 quart, the 921, they don't approve any of them. So you have to live within the guidelines. So that's where we are with that. You do your own research. There's plenty of research out there. They have things that they have to be able to comply with. So let's move on, because I want to see what's in here. So hey, here's a funny thing. Just on the flap here, trying to sell you a salad shooter and a kitchen kettle XL. I don't know what that is. Whatever. So first thing we see, the instructions and recipes. Right here. This is going to be a big deal, especially with all the research I've done. Everything needs to be run out of here. We'll go over that later, but that's the first thing out of the box is the instructions and recipes. The I don't know what the heck that's called, but it would be at the bottom of the canner. The cord. And the canner. That's really it. I'm actually going to pull this dude out of here. So this is pretty like space age looking. The inside's probably looks a little bit smaller than our 915. So we have All-American canners. We don't even have any Presto canners, but it looks a little bit smaller than our 915, but right around there. And the quick guide, and it shows the pressure canning.
Is that laminated?
It is, and the water bath canning. And that is all this machine does, water bath or pressure can. That's it. There's no cooker. This does not do cooking. You do your rice somewhere else. That's what your Instant Pot's for. That says open, so let's try it. Let's see what's in here. Open, you turn this knob here. And inside of here, which I've done research on, that's the important part. This is basically our gauge. So that's the technological piece. So now we'll open this and just see what the heck. So if you look, this actually looks like the inside of a Presto pressure canner that I've seen, because it just slips together. There are cookers that do the same thing, but that's to hold everything pressure-wise in. Nice. Oh, and here is when it pressurizes, even though this isn't driven by pressure, it's driven by temperature, you still have to have pressure to get temperature. So this is, if you look at a Presto canner, they have this exact, basically a pressure spout, I guess I'd call it. I don't know.
Pressure relief valve? Pressure
release valve, or, well, once it hits up to a certain pressure, it closes. So at that point, you know, pressure's building inside. There has to be a vent and a can thing going on here. And if anything that I've watched or read is correct, you pull this off just like so, and that's where you vent for your 10 minutes. So that covers our 10 minutes. And then when it tells you, because this machine will tell you, it's time to can, and what you do is you set this little...
It's like a weighted gauge?
Yeah, this guy here. Well, no, this'll, you just push that on there, and it stops venting, and you're at the can stage, or you have it at vent.
When you use it the first time.
Yes, I'll show all of this when I use it the first time, or second or third time, because I'm going to use it before I show you. But that is how that works. Pretty much, let's see here. So this, you know, it's not like a solid a stainless steel bowl or anything. It looks like it's non-stick. It has a line, so that line's going to mean something to us right there. Can you see that? And then it looks like the bottom of most any heating unit for one of these pots. And I think that's it. And so I think Presto has these seals. So on the All-American, it doesn't have a seal. It's just aluminum to aluminum. But they have their seal in here. And of course, I'm messing with that. This needs to be cleaned anyway. So I'll just take it out. As you can see, that comes out there pretty quick and pretty easily. So this is probably something that's going to have to be replaced, you know, however many sessions or whatever. I'm not sure how long this will last. This thing's so new. That's an unknown for me at this point. Okay, so we've unboxed this thing. We saw what came with it. Really, it's pretty straightforward. Came with a quick start guide for water bath canning, and the other side shows the instructions from Presto to pressure can. And then it has the piece that goes in the bottom, the electrical cord, and the instructions. Really, that's it. Most of that was the machine itself, that big old box. So I'm going to start off by saying, you do your own research. I've spent about 2 months researching this thing, and every time I tried to get definitive answers, are you testing it? Has it been tested by a university and all of those kind of things? Nobody's tested this thing at a university. However, I have been in contact with one that I'll go into later. So from the USDA guidelines 1-19, pressure does not destroy microorganisms. Let me repeat that. Pressure does not destroy microorganisms. High temperatures do over an adequate period of time. The only way that we can achieve those temperatures is with pressure applied. That's why everything is driven around pressure, okay? So let's just go there. So at sea level, weighted gauge pressure canner at 10.5 pounds will reach 240 degrees. That's fact. As you go up in altitude though, that's where things change, because it takes more pressure to get it up to that 240 degrees. A lot of you already know this. I'm just going over things so that folks that don't know this, that they will know that. So that's the key: temperature, not necessarily pressure. So according to the USDA and the National Center for Home Food Preservation, they do not approve a model of any canner. They don't approve the All-American canners I have sitting in there on the shelf. They don't approve of a specific canner, the Prestos, all of them. They've been canning food for decades, longer than decades. So they have to follow specific rules, right? So here are the things that have to be met. The canner must hold at least 4 quart jars vertically within the vessel, within the canner. This does, my All-Americans do all of that. You have to be able to vent the pressure and monitor the temperature, which we do with a weighted gauge. Now with technology, we're starting to monitor temperature instead of pressure. So, so that checks off box 2. And does it work on a stovetop or pressurize and depressurize as if it was on a stovetop? We're going to find that out, but all of the things that I've read, this takes essentially the same amount of time as doing it in a pressure canner on your stove. You know, you have to bring it up to temperature and pressure, and then it has to come off pressure. This takes, you're not saving any time, folks. That's just how it is. Canning takes time because you have to have that temperature over a period of time, right? So it checks that box as far as I know. And those are the essential things that I've found. At this point, no independent research has been done outside of Presto. I did contact Presto, and according to their folks, this has been tested up to 7,000, actually above 7,000 feet above sea level. And the unfortunate thing is they don't release what tests they did or what the results were. They just won't. They will say that it's safe to do that, which I really wish they would. That would be great. But so here's a statement I got from the National Center for Home Food Preservation, and it's just to show you again. To be considered a pressure canner for USDA processes, the canner must be able to hold at least 4 quart-sized jars standing upright on the canner rack with the lid in place, which, that's what this is. I'm horrible with understanding, words, whatever. This is the canner rack right here. Okay. It is also important to realize the canner should have a way to follow recommended venting procedures to remove air from inside the canner, which taking this vent off and letting it vent for 10 minutes is essential. And indicate that the canner remains at least the target pressure throughout the entire process. That's where this little technology piece over here comes into place, because that's basically your gauge, your jugular, your whatever, but it's actually going after that temperature, making sure that it's above that 240, in that 240 to 50 range. They did say, so this next piece is from Kansas State, and here's what they say. Presto is a well-respected and conscientious name in the industry. The University of Georgia has not independently verified their marketing statements, which is the thing on the front of the box. If someone wants this canner, they will have to be willing to trust the manufacturer and their testing at this time. Because the testing and the extent that Presto went through to test this is not available. And they said the fact that Presto is aware that they have to meet minimum temperature inside the canner, not just pressure, and all of those pieces that go with it, like venting for 10 minutes, all of those things, they say that that's a positive indication that they know what they're doing. Well, I would hope so. They've done this for a long time. So I want to clarify one thing. I said this is from the Kansas State University, and then all of a sudden said, University of Georgia. Well, the National Center for Home Food Preservation is through the University of Georgia, so that's why those two went in. I should have clarified that, but they haven't verified the marketing statements. That's really what it boils down to. Their recommendation from the National Center for Home Food Preservation is follow the Presto instruction manual and not directions from any other sources, including the USDA book or the National Center for Home Food Preservation. If you're going to use it, use their recipes and their guidelines, because they don't have independent testing to say that it meets it, which I understand that. And I looked at some of these things in there, and they're exactly the USDA guidelines on everything I looked at. I haven't looked at every single recipe in there. I'm going to disclose that now. But every one I looked at was, you could look at the USDA guidelines and you could look at the recipes in there, and they're exactly word for word. And again, I'm going to say the USDA doesn't approve specific home appliances, ever. So my last piece, and I have more than this, and I thought I had way more than this, but this is going to be plenty. I'm going to read this specifically from the cooperative extension, which Oregon State belongs to. I've actually been in contact with them, and apparently they're trying to get updated equipment to be able to specifically test this machine. So they're hoping in 2023, we'll see, and they don't know any more than we do. It's just that their goal is to get the necessary testing instruments. So here's what it says in this little blurb here, and I can leave a link to all of these things. Digital Electric Pressure Canner National Presto Industries recently released a digital pressure canner in the marketplace called the Presto Precise Digital Canner, which is this guy right here. The canner was developed specifically to follow the protocols and procedures established by the USDA for the safe canning of low acid foods. The digital pressure canner is not a multi-cooker, so I can't stress this enough. This isn't going to make your rice. This isn't going to do your Instant Pot recipe. This is going to do water bath canning and pressure canning, period. It doesn't do anything else, just period. That's all it does. Okay, so we'll just get that out of the way. I know there are a bunch of others that other people swear by. I'm sorry. It has to only be able to do two things. Can. Either way, right? It's a canner. That's it. We move on. The directions for operation of the canner should be followed to achieve the conditions necessary for the pressure canning process. To date, the cooperative extension has not conducted independent testing of this product. Please contact Presto Industries, which everything goes back to Presto, where they're saying if you put this out, you're saying that those recipes are safe, then that's on you, Presto. So when we can in this, we have to use those recipes within there, okay? Otherwise, you're on your own. So just looking in the book here, this is Presto's recipe book right here. So this is their recipe book, and I'm looking in the pressure canning area, and it has, you know, beans and beets, carrots, greens, corn, mushrooms, okra, pea. I mean, it goes on and on. There's literally many pages of it here. You know, back in here, there's clams. There's all kinds of stuff. I don't know that I would do something outside of this book in this canner right now, but my hope is that it will get tested and be approved, and you know, we move on. So our first experience with this is going to be water bath canning. I'm not quite to the point where I'm ready to pressure can yet with this, and we have other ways to do that. But if you live in an apartment, or you have an induction stove or something that you can't put a pan on really, that's going to weigh heavy, you know, this is a way for you to be able to water bath can, or, you know, pressure can. Hopefully it'll come out soon that somebody's done some testing on this. But I think this is amazing. They're expensive. These are expensive, I'm just saying. They're more than either one of our All-Americans were. So if you're, you know, if you don't have a canner, if you are thinking, hey, I'd really like to try it, this may be the way to give it a go. If nothing else, you can water bath can in this, and it'll hold. You can. I will say this: you cannot water bath can quarts in this, because you don't have enough headspace to have your inch of water over the top. So you can pressure can quarts, but you can't water bath can. That's kind of a good disclaimer right there. Again, find out, research your own. But if you're doing jellies, jams, and you're doing things that are water bath canned in pints, or half pints or quarter pints, you could totally do that in this. And in future videos, we'll go over how this thing tells you, hey, I'm going to water bath can for 20 minutes, and you tell it, I'm going to water bath can for 20 minutes, it turns on, you just follow the instructions on your quick start guide here, right? Your water bath can, and there's like 6, 7 steps right there. First do this, and then do that, and it walks you through each step. I'm really excited to give it a shot, because, you know, trying to make sure that everything's set up good, and the pressure's right, and oh, did it get too hot and sitting there boiling like crazy? So I think this will be a wonderful, wonderful tool. All right, everybody, so we've done our unboxing. We're gonna have to clean this up, do a little bit of reading as to what to specifically do. You know, I feel pretty comfortable doing water bath can, which we will have a video coming out once we understand how this works, to show you how it works. If you found something valuable here, like, subscribe, share, and tell your friends. If this is something that would really help you, that's awesome. A lot of people are scared of canning, and this is supposed to do all of the scary stuff. It just tells you when to do it. So we'll find out, and we'll see you on the next video. See you later, everybody. Thanks for visiting Big Valley Living. We'll see you later, everybody. See you on the next video.